worry, we won't post it all over the internet. And, but that's okay. You still look good. All right. So let me also explain what happens here, right, with these cameras. I mean, there is some really cool technology, right, in these cameras. So when I take a picture with the flash, whatever I do to it, okay, the flash is talking to the camera, right, via this hot shoe, okay. And first of all, it detects what focal length I'm at. Right? So if I go to 24 millimeters, it knows I'm at 24. If I go to 105, it knows 105. And it changes the angle of this little reflector in here to concentrate the light in a narrower point or broaden it a little bit, depending, so I get coverage for the angle of view that I have. So that's the first thing technologically it's doing. And then once that's established, I hit the shutter button. A pre-flash goes off, comes back into the camera, decides, Brian has his camera set at f11, I better give it this much power so I can make it f11 because it's going to know how far west is from me. Okay? And then, once it determines that, the mirror opens, right? The aperture closes down to f11, the shutter opens, the flash goes off. Once it sees enough light for f11, it turns itself off, right? Then the mirror goes down, shutter closes, mirror goes down, aperture opens up. All in one click of the button. So, just so you know, it's a lot of stuff going on in here. Now, you can go to a manual mode and make it a lot simpler, but when you're in this automatic mode or TTL or ETTL, right, you have a lot of stuff going on in this camera. So just a little insight into that. Okay, so the first image I'm going to take of Wes is going to be the let me go to 5.6. So I'm just going to go up to 4,000 ISO and 125 at 5.6 just because I want to not have any shake, and I'm not firing the flash, it's just using the fluorescent lights, okay? As we did in the example, okay? All right, man, have a look right here. Okay. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now what I'm going to do to really show you the example, or to highlight this, I'm going to go back down to 100 ISO, and I'm going to go to my sync speed, which is 250, right? Turn on my flash. Okay, so this is the deer in the headlights, the ugly light. Oh, no flash, huh? What's up with that? Try that again. Man, that doesn't happen very often. There we go. Doesn't like you, Wes. Sorry, man. All right, look right here. Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay.
You just stole your soul.
All right. Okay. So, oh yeah, the other one, right? So that was direct flash. Okay. The ugly light, right? Just like we did with the other shot. Now this one is going to be straight up, right? So we're going to do bouncing off the ceiling. Oops, that was pretty fast. Okay, there we go. That'll work. Now I'm going to take the light and I'm going to bounce it off the wall. So now instead of, there's no wall behind me now, so I'm going to bounce it over here, right? And then it's going to light up this whole screen and it's going to push the light back in his face. Now one thing you have to remember is exposure is determined by light source to subject distance. So I had one exposure when I was pointing the flash right at him, but when I pointed at the ceiling, we have to not calculate, but it's going to take more power because the light has to go up, bounce off the ceiling, and come back. And in this case, it's going over here and then coming this way. So it's using a lot more power, a lot more battery power when you start shaping it this way. So I just want you to be aware of that. All right, Wes, looking right here. Okay, perfect. Now, see, I thought I invented this. I convinced myself this is such a cool idea that I invented it. Because I carry one around Xerox all the time. Never used to laugh. But I was hanging out with a friend of mine from Brooks, and we were talking over a beer, and he goes, "You ever use that white card on the flash thing?" And I go, "Oh, I thought I invented it, but I guess I taught it to me at school, and I just forgot that part." So it really isn't my invention. Okay, so here we go. Okay, there's the card. GaryFong.com thing. I was pretty lucky this fit my flash too. Must have been a Canon shooter. I feel even worse than I stole it from the guy who shoots with Canon. All right. Here we go. So now think of what's happening, right? The light's being diffused all the way around, plus some light's going up. Because the light's being diffused before it bounces, right? It's going to take a lot more power with this thing. You could point it down and go straight, but it does some weird things with the metering when it's down. So I think most people use it up. And even if you don't have a ceiling to bounce off, you're still getting light all the way around. So it has some advantages. Okay, and let's not forget Canon's version of my cool card. This is why I really didn't invent it. You all seen that?
Yes.
All right, so that's what it's the same thing, except mine's cooler. It's bigger. Right? All right, but this is with you all the time. Okay, so now we'll just see how this looks, because this is really free. This is free. That's $1. That's $60. All right. Okay, cool. All right, Wes, thanks. Have a seat. Let me get the projector up.
Figure out what that white card is because I just got one of those 5 AS.
Yeah.